Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another scene of A Death of a Dark Crusade Season 2. On this dark, black, murky evening, we set the scene at the periphery of the Christian Quarter. Dark tidings run throughout the district. The self-destructive floggings of those who would seek to tarnish the Lord's name and that of his son. Rumors of a monastery being burned to the ground by vandals and murderers. Thieves of children and their captors, abusers. And the disappearance of a pillar of a local community from outside the walls, as many have begun to lose hope and can think of only of how he must have died. None of these rumors are good things for our intrepid La Sombra here. Oh no. Dark tidings. While points may be useful tools, and are certainly effective at making a point, can also work as a double-edged sword. And it is for that reason that we focus in on Madelain with her followers, ready to make their largest stand yet. The grand stage of the Christian Quarter. What is Madelain doing?
She is in a couple of different mindsets at this point. She is thinking of what exactly is going to happen tonight. She's thinking of what might be the end of, she's going to make it through this, and the cult will be stronger for it, but what exactly is going to happen and how exactly this is going to play out, she does not know. But she is looking at the followers, the people around her, the people with her. She knows that they are strong in spirit, at least. She's preparing herself. But she has made very clear that they have to, as much as possible, avoid any confrontations at this time. It must be made clear that they were not the aggressors, they were the victims. This monastery was kidnapping children. Whatever their twisted purposes was, or if they thought they were doing a good thing, that was the crime. Things might have gotten out of hand, partly, in Madelain's mind at least, for the better, but it's of course not something she's going to say just now. But for the moment, she is planning a couple of different ways that this could go, a couple of different ways she wants to describe certain things.
Your cult, you're following your honored children, all heed your call, your voice, your unspoken authority over them. As their nominal leader and founder. I'll be with you every step of the way. And yes, I shall very much seek to avoid any conflict. Should they be able to avoid it. But you have also taught them to defend themselves, and they will not hesitate to defend their beliefs, and they will not hesitate to do so should these two armies of the faithful come to blows this evening. But they certainly will not initiate any fight. That they happily swear upon. So heading out. Where are you going? In the Christian Quarter in particular, are you taking everybody with you? Do you have them do anything? Like what I'd sing or anything?
No. They're simply going to walk in a fairly quite organized place. They're going to be dressed up fairly nicely, but they're not going to say anything. They're not going to push anyone. They're not actually going to do much of anything of posturing. What they're just going to do, they're walking these 2-3 lines just completely well, almost in unison just through the street. They're not going to say anything. They're not going to punch people, like not even interact. They're just going to walk through the street. And they're just going to stand there, and Madelain is with her 2 boys, and the leader of the cult, or the gathering, and a couple of other choice individuals. Is just gonna be a little bit in front of it, and the people are just gonna be standing a little behind them, and they're just gonna be standing in the background. But they're gonna be standing as this, like, fairly uniform mass of people. And they're just going to be standing there for the moment. When they meet or see someone who will come up to them, not much of anything will happen, just, well, unless things start going down, of course, but they're going to stay relatively silent just to watch. Just watching as this fairly large group of seemingly uniformed people.
As you walk on through, your presence, because you're leading hundreds of people into this district, all in like 3 lines. It's quite massive. Causes a bit of a stir in the Christian quarter. Small folk look at you and your following largely with curiosity. They certainly don't seem fearful or hostile to you. They seem open to your presence, to your being here. In many ways, it's almost a pleasant novelty to them, as if they've never seen this before. It interests them, fascinates them. They want to see what will happen. They want to see what you're doing here. Some of them very much recognize you and appear quite friendly to you. Although, of course, since you seem to have a very firm look on your face and appear to be here for a very...
Well, the common folk that meet her eyes, she will nod and smile to. If ever briefly, she will return the gesture. But indeed, she seems to be focused.
Yeah, most of them... most of them just give you a friendly wave, keep an eye on you for as long as they can, and then simply go about their business. Although a few of them break off what they're doing and follow you with your little following. Some, is more secretive practitioners of your particular brand of faith, and others are following their curiosity or a personal loyalty to you and your community, outside of simply sharing its beliefs. Perhaps you, or more likely one of your followers, or one of your actions that you have taken has garnered their trust in the past. They trust you. And they want to be there for whatever it is you're about to do. Because clearly it's important. Maybe there is some meager way in which they can help. But you make it up to it's one of very few cathedrals left in the city. There are a few chapels and churches, not many cathedrals, nothing of particular grandeur. Most were destroyed in the siege many decades ago. This one still stands, showing a bit of wear and tear, but standing firm, strong, as it always has been. It's quite grand. You can see the stained glass. Depicting various vignettes from the Bible itself. Your presence at the cathedral at its entrance, like down the steps, it's remarkably reminiscent of when you're at the monastery, just a lot larger in scale. This time the city watch are a bit more prepared. Your presence attracts their attention. You have a couple dozen of them following you, and you see that one is sent off for some reason. Like when you reach the cathedral itself, they try to surround your group in what capacity they can, but there's like hundreds of you and a few dozen of them, so it's not really that simple. But yeah, a couple scarper off somewhere. Sent running.
Madelain will try to tell them that there will be no violence tonight. She understands and respects that they're just doing their job, how difficult it might be sometimes. But they can rest easy. They will not do anything.
They take no violent action against you. It wasn't their intention to begin with. But you can tell while they're not intending to start a fight if they can help it. They're very suspicious and on guard. To be fair, you did bring a giant-ass mob to the front of the most prominent cathedral in the city. So they are understandably on edge. How about make a charisma empathy roll? See how much you're able to convince the guard. You know, you go around talking to them. You know, your followers aren't taking any violent action. A lot of them just stop moving or sit down. Once you reach your destination, the line kind of breaks up and they kind of coalesce around the cathedral's edges.
Charisma empathy?
Yeah, charisma empathy. I'd say difficulty 7 because this is a situation where they would be very much on edge. You have a giant mob. They're uncomfortable.
I don't botch, but I fail.
Okay, yeah, they're very much on edge. I mean, they don't seem like they're willing to start a fight, but yeah, you can tell this is a bit of it's a sensitive situation. Very much a lot of powder kegs.
Yeah, okay. Madelain will try that a little, but
all it takes is a single spark to set off a blaze.
Well, Madelain will just again be at the forefront. She will just stand there with a couple of individuals and see if anyone and who those people are who will come forward.
Well, the cathedral, of course, being a location of prominence, has some guard of its own. Healthy enough contingent of guards. They and while the guards from the quarter kind of have been kind of keeping an eye on, you know, the demonstration as it's moved throughout the city and have kind of, you know, haphazardly surrounded it, but not really, and they're kind of just on the edges of this giant mob. The guards from the cathedral more or less just form up a line at the gates to the cathedral, and or the thick metal fencing, and what would it be fencing? It'd be it's not fencing.
Railing? No.
Railing. Yeah, the railings. They're quite tall. You know, they're twice as tall as a person. You know, you wouldn't really realistically be able to jump over them, and they are the ends of them are quite sharp. They're pointed. fawny, almost. And those guys just bar away. It takes a few minutes for anything to happen. Are you doing anything during that time? Anyone you want to talk to?
She will bid the guards a good night and hope they are doing well. And again, reassure them as much as she can that they can relax. Nothing will happen.
Okay, these guards will actively not believe you, but they don't say much on the issue. In fact, they try not to interact with you.
That's fine. She's going to do it regardless because it's her. Yeah, she is going to. She is gonna just reassure the leader and the boys that she will just converse with the bishop or whoever might come and see them.
The kind of the sort of leader for your group, which has been serving very much as your proxy and has been kind of, because of course your group doesn't necessarily know that much about you.
No.
You're kind of like the sort of community figureheads know about you, of course, and view you as their leader, but the people kind of at the bottom of the informal totem pole, so to speak, don't really know much about you, and has really been kind of spreading the news and the love about you. But is generally a bit more trusted because he's around more.
Mm-hmm.
He'll walk up. Well, he'll sit down. He'll sit down. They've managed to grab a stool from somewhere. This is a tense situation.
I know. How does it feel? Is it both agonizing and exciting? I find it is like that most times.
I feel as if I am staring death in the face. We could, if worst came to worst, overwhelm the limited number of guards here.
No,
but
that will not be necessary.
I simply fear that we will run short on time. The two that they sent off were 4.
More.
Hmm.
I know. But I am fairly confident that most things will be handled before they return. And if they return before it is handled, they will, well, mostly be bored. Nothing will happen.
I hope you're right. I very much hope you are right.
So do I.
The men we are to deal with has 2 tongues of which to speak. I fear that should the guard reach us here before we conclude, and we are given our place here, an order may simply be given to remove us. Even if it is to be. And he eyes off to the side because he's about to say something a little bit controversial to you. Even if it were to be painless. I would not be able to control the heightened passions of the men and women here.
Why, as you well know, there are more ways than one to satiate passion. But perhaps you are right. Perhaps we should ask the good bishop to show himself. I would have a talk with him. And is there anything else on your mind? I will take that as a no.
Simply anticipation for the outcome.
Madelain gets up and walks over to the guard, one of the guards. She will just say, would you inform the bishop, or whoever is in his stead tonight, that members of the city, members of his faith, would wish to speak with him?
The guards are not going to give way to that request, but you are fortunate, as something a fairly young man dressed in robes of the Dominican sect, white and black, walks on out of the cathedral. You hear kind of the opening of the large doors, not too dissimilar to the monastery, but they sound a little bit weightier. Like it's distinct enough to sound almost a bit more metallic. He walks out, and he kind of doesn't really address you more than he addresses the crowd. The bishop wishes to know why so many of you have gathered here in such numerous and threatening fashion.
Madelain will stand up and look at him.
This is a blessed evening. He would request that you leave. The cathedral is not open at these hours.
We would wish to speak with the bishop on the future of this city in more ways than one, and of the faith. There are those who have seemingly would say that those who are my brothers and sisters are lost sheep. Would it not be in his grace's faith to shepherd those who are lost back into the fold? Would it not be to mend divisions between the faithful. If he is truly of his faith, if he is truly interested of this, then we would very much like to speak with him.
Do you speak for this crowd,
I
young
do.
madam? May I ask for your name?
Hmm. She will just. Do you want me to roll manipulation subterfuge? Because she is going to not give her real name.
Okay. Yeah, roll it. We don't exist in a evidence-based society right now. If he thinks you're bullshitting, he'll stick to God on you. It'll be funny. Yeah, I want to roll against you. It's your name. Like, he expects you to be honest with him.
She will say, Marie. Marie is my name. My brothers and my sisters here are we worship different from most, but we are no less part of the church. This seems to have caused quite a bit of division in our fair city. We wish to remedy this. We wish to not show that we are few, but show that we are who we are, as many as we are, and that we are a part. And as a part, we wish not to harm, but we wish to be recognized and to avoid any division, any further division that there might be. If we do not,
What is it that you wish to be recognized?
that we can be in the city and not be persecuted by others of the faith. That we are equal. We have just as much right to ours. And we wish that the church, despite its givings to those less fortunate, truly lives by the name of the Lord.
Of what persecution do you speak of?
The kidnapping of children, of my brothers and sisters. The shaming, the denunciations, saying that we are heretics, that we are not fit for. That is the persecution I talk of.
He heads back inside. Doors close briefly. A few minutes pass. Anything you have to do during those few minutes? It is questionable whether he's going to come back out at all.
Yeah, Madelain just looks around. She will just. Actually, she's just gonna stand there and just survey the guards and everything. See if the mood has calmed down or if they're still jitty and probably, but she is going to remain as calm and as cool, as collective, just seeing as to not flinch, not like stand there almost as a statue, just waiting because, kind of sent the signal that she is someone you have to wait for. You have to take this serious. That's the signal she's trying to send, kind of. It's also to reassure her followers, of course. But
they're still pretty jittery. A bit less so than before, because words have been exchanged and nothing's really escalated yet. So something's happening, and things seem to be moving. Something started. But nothing really happens for a few minutes. You're kind of having to talk over the guards, by the way. Like, this guy's up on steps, but his view isn't. Your view of him isn't always clear. You're quite tall, though, to be fair. A lot of murmuring after the guy leaves. You can kind of see your proxy, your second among the face here. You see Juno as well. Kind of looking at you with some degree of anticipation, with like as in they have kind of sharp eyes. They're kind of looking around a lot, not with their heads. Their eyes are just shifty, very shifty. Keep an eye on where guards are at. The guards around you, not the ones who have blocked the entrance, do seem to tighten up a little bit. But other than that, they don't confront you. They're still decent. They're not. They're hardly. They're not performing any crowd control or control tactics yet. Nothing like that. They're just. They seem to be almost bringing themselves to the brink of readiness in a way, without actually touching their weapons in any meaningful way. They just close up a little bit. And then the envoy comes out again. He comes out with
a gun! Sorry.
he has a kind of a large scroll, piece of parchment in his hands. He just opens it up. It's almost like he's playing Town Cry or Herald right now. In fact, what he's doing, Madelain, you'd recognize is very much like what a herald would do, very much speaking for an authority figure, announcing their decrees and such. It is with the utmost sadness and regret that I am to inform you that for your organization's actions in breaking the sanctimony of the Holy Church and the destruction, the willful destruction of the Holy Sanctuary and its keepers, as you'll say, and its honored keepers, you are to be excommunicated from the arms of the Church of Rome.
Gasp.
Do you have religion? Christianity?
Theology, yeah. Or religion, theology. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so you know, excommunication isn't something that's taken for lols.
Nope.
It's and it's not something a lot of people can do.
It's the Pope, right? And maybe like a cardinal every once in a while, but
yeah, certain figures.
but not a bishop. Bishop wouldn't be able to excommunicate you, right?
I'm just double checking. Just to clarify for you. No, bishop can absolutely excommunicate you. To do it en masse to a large group of people, though, is a pretty big deal. That's not something that's common. It's possible that this is merely part of a wider policy, but your specific actions were noted.
Oh, okay.
So that is that in itself is unlikely. This is probably the bishop's way of retaliating against your actions thus far. Obviously, excommunication is an act of religious censure. You're basically not considered Christian anymore. Which has a lot of social repercussions, and potentially legal ones. Basically, this is the bishop telling the city they have carte blanche to do whatever they want to you.
If this is the bishop's wish, then he is in agreement with those who kidnap children. Those who would fight against those who have the best interest of the common man, those the lowest of society. If this is indeed his wish, he is against his own teachings. That is sad, you know. This will also mark the end of your church's relevance. The beginning of the end of the relevance of your church. In this place, at least. For all those who come to the Lord in different ways, you would spite them and excommunicate them simply for being different, being perhaps more true to the religion itself. Let it be known that we have done what we have, only to better those who are the weakest, only to find those who are the best of us, who bear the faith the strongest. And for this, we are persecuted even more. And as you do this, and as you do all the other things you must do, you will only make us stronger in doing so.
Can you roll me perception empathy on your own crowd?
Oh, wait, it's 3 successes.
Okay, a lot of them are actually pretty devastated by this announcement because they're still Christians.
Yeah.
Some of them are very angry, others are just mortified and upset. I don't know what direction to take. Juno and your proxy seem completely unsurprised and unconcerned. Although they are gauging the crowd quite carefully, that is probably the only thing which is earned their attention outside of this announcement. They're kind of gauging each member of the crowd very carefully.
Madelain will just look at the speaker and just say, "So you mean to say that the bishop will not even grace us with his presence?"
The bishop shall not be seeing you this evening. I reiterate that you have been requested to leave peacefully. Perhaps one final act to set something right.
Quite. Madelain is... She is just gonna... she's gonna instruct Juno and the leader of the Flagellants to begin to get people to... begin to get them to leave. Do not cause trouble, but have everyone gather at one of their meeting places because she will address the crowd.
Yep, I'll do that. You go to leave.
Madelain, however, Madelain will say that she will be with them shortly.
Okay.
Because
so, yeah,
the
I'll
people are
have.
beginning to leave, so it's clear that they're beginning to disperse or go back.
I'm gonna roll a couple dice for them because this crowd is pretty fucking incensed right now. Okay. Juno just needs to not botch. What level is Juno again?
Level 2.
Okay, she gets 6 successes. As long as she doesn't botch, she'll be fine. Okay, she failed. So she doesn't botch, it's fine. So Juno's not really able to calm everybody down, but the man you've entrusted to lead this following in your stead, to lead your faithful upon the righteous path, is able to keep people Then he's not able to calm them down, but he's able to keep them from committing to acts of violence. He's able to direct them to a place where he's able to get them to wait until you return.
Right.
Yeah, you see a lot of kind of Juno and Jonah and this head flagellant trying to keep people calm, and a lot of people just too incensed to listen to Juno. Juno just doesn't sound very convincing, but the head flagellant, he knows how to lead, and he does so. He keeps people from doing anything reckless, even if he can't keep their emotions calm. But they do go to leave. They go to slowly disperse. The guard are effectively going to escort them out of the quarter. But they're not going to go beyond their district boundaries because likely a great deal of crimes are being committed while they've had their attention occupied on you. So even the guards will slowly begin to disperse as you get closer to the edge, as your following gets closer to the edge of the quarter.
Madelain will just look at the crier and just say, she will speak in Latin, as she will say that the dice have been thrown. Essentially, you've just crossed the line, and yeah, you're probably not going to like what's going to happen. Like, she's just going to say, like, well, the dice have been thrown. She's going to very politely curtsy towards him and wish him a very good evening. And she is going to head after the others.
Get back to the slums on the south wall. Your standard meeting place. And people are crying in despair. Other people are furious. Others fight amongst each other, arguing. Many regret the actions that have led to this. Others feel betrayed that their brethren would turn on them in such a way. And so as you return to this small open area in the slums, almost like a clearing in a network of alleys, you see a lot of people, a lot of them furious, a lot of them upset, a lot of them just simply brawling with each other. Juno and the leader of this very following struggling to keep the situation contained.
Madelain will go into the middle, take off her covering, like what's covering her head, and just take down the cloak and whatever's on her head, and just free face. And she will just look around and just, everyone, please. The night was hard for many of you. What is the name of the guy leading them? I have not chosen a name. I don't know if you have.
Call him Maxim.
Brother Maxim, Juno, myself, Geralt, and many of us. She tries to get eye contact with as many of them as she talks. All of you. What is our teaching? You all know it. As Christ suffered on the cross, so will our suffering bring us closer to Him and to strengthen us. Today, yes, it was hard. Hardship lies forward. Hardship lies in front of us. Is that any different? It is but more hardship for us. Hardship that we will endure together. And together we will become so much stronger.
You heard the man. We are no longer even Christians. We are outcasts.
She will, the man who says that, she will just beg it,
I
like
knew
smile and
burning
just
down that monastery was a mistake.
come closer.
No sane man would do so.
She will either go to him or have him come forward. Does this frighten you? I'm assuming I can find the guy.
Oh, yeah, he steps forward.
And does this frighten you?
We have been given a fate that is worse than death.
Have you not seen my strength? Gerard's strength? Maxim's strength? I have been looked down by the church for quite some time, and I'm all the stronger for it. Unless you are saying that you do not have the strength to face this challenge as any other challenge, then you have nothing to fear. Not only will you become stronger, you will have us by your side.
They say hell is a plane of eternal suffering. Is that supposed to make us stronger as well?
When I am through with you, hell will not be a problem. It will not be a thing that you will have to fear.
Fear or not, I do not wish to go to hell.
What if I told you that you can go to a garden? Not the Garden of Eden. Not the Garden of Lucifer, but the garden of someone quite different. A place internal, but guarded, watched over, caretaken by someone who is neither God nor the devil. There are places in this world where this is manifest. She looks up to everyone else. This place is a place of worship, a place that I will have all of us visit together. Soon, all of us will gather. We will go to this place, and I will show you something that I have not shown very many of you before. A higher understanding of what we do, a higher understanding of what pain, torment, but pleasure, embrace of life itself can give. The act of creation, act of love, truly unbound, what it can give to all of us. I will show it to you all if you are willing and able to follow.
Roll me charisma leadership.
I'm gonna spend a willpower.
Yeah, go do that. I was going to make it high difficulty, but you are offering these people a solution. You're offering them hope, and that does come into play. Okay, you get 4 successes. That's pretty good.
What was it? What was the difficulty?
It's 'cause I was going to make it 8, but it will be 6 because you are offering them hope, which
Oh, then it is 4.
which matters. So you get 4 successes. So you rally all but the most guilty, the most penitent, those who are most likely never cut out for this to begin with. The dissident is small and nearly completely drowned out by the noise of approval, the desperate pleas for these young men and women to be taken to this place, so that they may see the fruits of your labors, so that they may see what has brought you this understanding, what the church cannot understand. Those more skeptical would at least like to see out of curiosity, to see if you are right, and if not, then they shall return. They will try and set things right with the church, but they are still willing. They are still. They still show potential. And of course, many simply wish to safeguard their families from the ensuing chaos. To have a place where now those so persecuted, those who have been cast out by the faith, those who will be trampled upon by any and all who follow the church, and will be given all the encouragement in the world to do so, may have a place they can call safe.
Madelain will say, if there are those of you who would, any of these Christians that will do their very Christian ways of turning the other cheek by persecuting you, they will quickly find that this is perhaps not something one should do. We will show our strength in more ways than one. If anyone is stupid enough to act against us. And Madelain will just go around and she's not going to push it too much. It, for those knowing, looking at this, would probably look more like Madelain is actually congratulating them on being excommunicated. She's not going to do that because some of these people are, but the thing is,
yeah, that would be. I'll give you a common sense on that one because of the mood of the crowd. That would definitely that would create a very negative reaction.
She is going to quote comfort people. She is going to go around and comfort people and take as much time with almost every single person here. Just look them in the eyes, smile, and just calm them down, remind them of what they've learned, and that hardship is a normal thing. It actually is a thing that they are learning to deal with and actually use as strength. Reiterating the teachings.
Yeah.
But in Madelain's mind, though, she is actually quite pleased how this has turned out. She's almost wanting to thank the bishop because not only has she found a couple that aren't willing to do this, who are afraid, and she can disregard them because they're not worthy, and he has essentially burned the ships. So now that they have even more ways, even better justification on will to do what has to be done.
Just text message to kind of clarify the direction this is going in right now.
Oh yeah. I guess.
You go. I definitely agree. I definitely agree with you. I don't want you to think I'm disagreeing with you. I very much agree. I very strongly agree. But yeah. Is there anything Madelain wants to do in particular? Past this point as the you try and calm down your fellows. The dissidents become fairly obvious as they're the ones who kind of avoid you and skip out of the meeting.
And she will not want to see them again, because she really doesn't have any use for them. Madelain will have a couple of words with Maxim. And tell him that this is good. This is a good thing, but try to calm people down, and she looks forward to seeing him and she will tell him that he is about to come to a meeting of her fellows, and he and the others are for the first time going to see something directly divine in her eyes. Not this false Christ thing, but yeah. And yeah, she is going to spend time doing that. And but other than that, I don't think I have anything else.
Okay. Then we will end our scene there. Thank you, player, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. We'll see you next time.